In the last video tutorial, we have completed discussion on the concept of valuation, that is time value of money. So we moved on to a new chapter, and the name of the chapter is capital budgeting. Now, capital project planning is the process by which companies allocate funds to various investment projects designed to ensure profitability and growth. Now, what it means? See, for a company or an investment organization or a firm, they have sufficient amount of money which they require to invest in certain projects. This is what is said to be capital. Now, capital project planning refers to that this particular capital required to be deployed in certain projects where the company is going to earn a certain amount of return in the future. So they require to plan the project and by in such a way that they allocate funds to various investments. So there might be various investment options, or there might be various projects where they can invest and they are looking forward to get a desired return. So profitability and growth is one of the major objectives from the point of view of a company. The evaluation of such project involves estimating their future benefits to the company and comparing them with the cost. Now, what it means? It refers that there can be various investment options, or there can be various projects in which the company can invest. But since the amount of investment or fund is limited, it is not possible for a company to invest in all possible options or projects. Then under such circumstances, they require to evaluate that which all projects are good enough to invest. And what they do, they try to estimate the future benefits to the company. That means the returns which they are going to earn, in future. So they are going to calculate certain future benefits and comparing them with the initial cost or the initial investment which they have made. So the definition says that capital budgeting refers to planning the deployment of available capital for the purpose of maximizing the long-term profitability of the firm. So the basic objective of this particular chapter is to evaluate various kind of projects where possible investment can be done. And so if I have investment A, investment B, investment C as three options, and I'm looking forward to invest a certain sum of money, I require to calculate and find out which can be the best possible investment option where I can pull in the money and can get maximum amount of return or benefit in future. So the next most important thing comes is, what is the capital budgeting process? How it works? Now, there are four important parameters here. The first point says project generation, project evaluation, project selection, and project execution. Now we will explain each and every what it means. Now project generation means that the company should have certain investment option. If there is only one option where they can invest, then there is nothing like evaluating it. So they might have various options, like 3-4 options where the company is thinking about investing. And they are aware of the fact that in future there will be a certain amount of return from the investment which the company has made. So they require to find out that in which all projects, for step 1, which all projects or investment option can be one of the choice from the point of view of the company where investment can be done. Still, we haven't started on with the investment, but it is basically a generation of an idea with respect to projects where the investment can be done in future. So the step 1 talks about project generation, where a planning is done, a selection is done, that this can be a few of the projects where we can invest. Point number 2 states project evaluation. Now, once you have shortlisted that there are 5 good projects where the investment can be done, it is also important that the decision of which particular project I am going to select will depend on certain evaluation parameters. Now the evaluation parameters will be discussed in the next part. The evaluation parameters means there should be certain mathematical calculations, certain techniques which we term as capital budgeting techniques, with which there will be certain answer, certain decision taken, there will be certain figures which will talk about certain decision, and with reference to that, the generation of idea where we had 5 projects, I will come down to 1 or 2 most important project which has given me which is giving the desired result as evaluation, as per the evaluation. The next comes is project selection. So once we have generated ideas about 5 different investment options where we can invest, thereafter we have done certain evaluation and used certain capital budgeting techniques, calculations, wherefrom we have concluded that there are 2 very good investment opportunity out of those 5 projects generation ideas which we had. Now out of these 2, after the evaluation part is done, with reference to this 2 project, I require to select any one of the project. So selection of the project will depend on the fact that which particular investment option best suits the company. And the last part comes is project execution, where the capital deployment or the capital which is there with the organization or the investment which is there in the organization required to be invested. So let's talk about how this evaluation is done. Now, capital budgeting techniques can be classified under 2 broad heads. So let's come back. So capital budgeting, we are talking from the point of view of the techniques. Now capital budgeting techniques, or we can say methods, can be broadly classified under 2 broad heads. Now what are those 2 heads? Number 1 says it's a traditional method, and number 2 is discounted cash flow method. So one is traditional method and the second one is said to be discounted cash flow method. Now if you remember, we have done this while we were discussing concept of valuation. So discounted cash flow method. Now there are various methods categorizing under both traditional and discounted cash flow method. Now with reference to traditional method, it can further be classified under 2 broad heads. The first one is payback period method, and the second method is known as accounting rate of return. This can also be termed as, in short, we can write ARR. Discounted cash flow method can be classified under 3 heads. First one, we say, is a net present value method. So net present value method, which is termed as, short form is NPV. The next one is internal rate of return, which is known as IRR. So first one is net present value, the second one is internal rate of return, and the third one is profitability index. Which we term it as PI. So broadly, in capital budgeting, methods can be classified under 2 broad heads. One is a traditional method and another is a discounted cash flow method. Now, traditional method can be further classified under 2 heads. One is payback period and accounting rate of return. These are basically the evaluation techniques. And discounted cash flow method can be classified under 3 heads. One is net present value, the second one is internal rate of return, and the third one is profitability index. So the first one, net present value, is NPV, short form, internal rate of return IRR, and profitability index is termed as PI. So these are the various methods. Now, what is the difference between this traditional and discounted cash flow method? We have discussed this particular part while we have discussed concept of valuation in time value of money. Discounted cash flow method, as the word discounted says, that it refers to the fact that that money over a period of time is going to fall. So time value of money is one of the most important concept in discounted cash flow method. Whereas time value of money will not be considered a traditional method. So traditional method, practically in the industry, it is very difficult to push forward such kind of a method because time value of money is not considered, because we are aware of the fact that in today's world time value of money is one of the most important concept. So discounted cash flow method is considered to be one of the best method, and under discounted cash flow method, net present value method is one of the most important concept and the best method in capital budgeting. So let's talk about today what we are going to discuss. We are going to discuss only on payback period. Now what payback period means, and we are going to solve certain numerical problems with reference to payback period. Now the term payback can also be termed as payout or payoff, is basically defined as the length of time required for a stream of cash proceeds produced by an investment equal to the original cash outlay required by the investment. Now what it means? It says that the term payback can also be termed as a payout or a payoff. Is defined as the length of time. So payback period, from the word itself it's clear. Payback period. Period means time period. So it talks about a certain time period. Now what time period? The payback refers to a certain time period where the required for the stream of cash proceeds produced by an investment, which refers to a stream of cash proceeds, means to say the cash inflow. If I make an investment, I'm supposed to get certain sum of money. And if I'm going to get a certain sum of money after year 1, year 2, year 3, that is what is said to be a stream of cash proceeds, inflows produced by an investment. That is the cash outflow. Investment is the cash outflow. Returns are the cash inflow. So required stream of cash proceeds produced by an investment, which is cash outflow, equals to the original cash outlay, means outflow, required by the investment. That means to say, payback period tries to calculate the time period in terms of years. How many number of years required such that the total of cash inflow or the stream of cash inflow is equal to the total of cash outflow or initial investment, which means to say that the total, if I made a total investment of rupees 10,000, how many number of years it is taking such that the total cash inflow is also 10,000. So total cash inflow for the first year I got some money, for second year I got some inflow, for third year I got some inflow. If I add up the inflow, till what time it takes that the total of cash inflow added till date is equal to the total of cash outflow or the initial investment. So what kind of formula we apply? The formula is payback period is equal to initial investment, or you can say cash outlay or cash outflow, divided by annual cash inflow. Now let's take an example and understand this. So the formula says that payback period can be calculated as is equal to the initial investment divided by annual matlab yearly, annual cash inflow. This can be termed as cash outflow, cash outlay, whatever. Now let's take an example. If the initial investment from the company is rupees 1 lakh, so the company has already invested rupees 1 lakh, and every year, I'm talking of annually, every year the cash inflow, that is the revenue which they are earning, the cash inflow is rupees 20,000. So how we calculate payback? So how we calculate payback period? The payback period will be the initial investment, which is rupees 1 lakh, divided by the annual cash inflow, which is rupees 20,000, which is giving me 5 years. So this, I hope this is the initial part of the calculation which one required to understand. That payback period is initial investment divided by annual cash inflow. So if I am aware of the initial investment which I have done or the cash outflow, which is 1 lakh, and the annual cash inflow is rupees 20,000, so we can calculate it via this particular formula, and the payback period is 5 years. Now what this 5 years means, that after 5 years, so within 5 years, I will be getting, so 20,000 every year means by 5 years I am going to get 1 lakh, which is equal to the initial investment. So basically 5 years talks about the period, the time period which is required to get the revenue, to get the total revenue which is equal to the initial investment. Now there are certain accept reject rules. This is important. For every answer you require to give your judgment relating to whether we accept or we reject the investment proposal. Now please understand, with reference to the business which they are doing, if the industry standard, now what is industry standard? The industry standard means that other companies in the same business, say for example, this is a particular business, say apparel industry. So other industry standard means other companies in the apparel industry. So industry standards gives that they normally take a time period of 6.5 years to reach the payback period. So payback period for the industry is 6.5 years. But in my business, the payback period is 5 years. So what I do, if the industry payback period is 6.5 years and I reached my payback within 5 years, that my business is good. So under such circumstances, I will accept the project. Rather, I will prefer to invest in this particular project. If this would have been 7 years, then I would say that since my calculated payback period is higher than the industry standard, I prefer not to invest in such kind of a project. Secondly, we also require to understand that every year cash inflow may not be the same. So it might differ. So we will take into consideration. So this particular formula we apply only when the annual cash inflow is same every year, which is rupees 20,000. But when this annual cash inflow is not the same, then under such circumstances what we do, how we calculate. So let's take an example. And in the example, say the initial investment done from the point of view of the company is rupees 1 lakh. So now we are going to talk about or discuss about that when the cash inflows for every year is not the same. So the first column is year. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, say for example, and this is the cash inflow which we are getting, which the company will be getting after 1 year, 2 year. So 1 year, so they have got maybe 10,000. Second year they have got 20,000. Third year they got 30,000. Fourth year they got 40,000, and fifth year they will be getting 50,000. Now in the last formula what we did, that initial investment or cash outflow divided by annual cash inflow. That was the last time the formula which we did. Divided by annual cash inflow. The annual cash inflow on the last problem was same. But for this particular problem it's not the same. Then how we solve? We try to find out the cumulative. We try to find out the cumulative cash inflow. Now for the first year, if I have received rupees 10,000, so I've got in my pocket rupees 10,000. Second year, if I've got 20,000, overall 20 plus 10, I got 30,000. Third year, I got 30,000. I already had 30,000 plus I got 30,000. So 30 plus 30 is 60,000. Fourth year, I got 40,000. I already have 60,000. So 60 plus 40,000 is 1 lakh. And 1 lakh plus 50,000 is 1 lakh 50,000. Now, if we check here, we made an initial investment of rupees 1 lakh and we are getting back 1 lakh after 4 years. So 4 years becomes my payback period. So this is a particular technique which we apply when the cash inflows, when the annual cash inflow which has been mentioned are not the same. In the next part, let's take one more example into consideration. So there are 3 projects, say for example. So investment amount planned, say, is rupees 1 lakh. So company plans to invest rupees 1 lakh and they have 3 projects, say project A, project B and project C, and they prefer to choose any one of the project, whichever project will give them a better result with reference to payback period. And we have 5 years, and say for example, for the first example, project A, they are getting rupees 25,000 every year. So every year the annual cash inflow is rupees 25,000. For the second project, which is project B, initially they got 20,000, then 30,000, then 40,000, then say again 40,000, and for the last year they got 50,000. In case of project C, initially they started with getting 20,000, then they got 40,000, again got 40,000, then got 50,000 and 50,000. Now what we require to find out? We require to take a decision based on 3 projects, project A, B and C. We are doing basically payback period. So based on payback period, we require to decide which particular project we are willing to invest. So let's talk about from the point of view of project A. Now, in case of project A, we are aware of the fact that the initial inflow, the inflows which are happening, the annual cash inflow are the same. So we apply. So the payback period is equal to the initial investment, which is 1 lakh. The formula has been given before, divided by the annual cash inflow, which is rupees 25,000, equivalent to how many? 4 years. For the first part, so payback period coming is 4 years for project A. Now let's talk about project C first. So let's calculate project C first, then I will come down to project B. So let's talk about project C. Now in case of project C, this amount is not uniform. So I cannot divide it by annual cash inflow. So what we do, we try to find out the cumulative. So first year, second year, third year, fourth year and fifth year. So first year they have received 20,000, second year 40,000, third year 40,000, next year is 50,000 and followed by 50,000. So as we said, we require to find out the cumulative. We require to find out the cumulative inflow. So cumulative inflow will be how much? 20,000 for first year. Once the second year is getting completed, it's 60,000. Once the third year getting complete, it's 1 lakh, because 60,000 plus 40,000 is 1 lakh. Once the fourth year is getting complete, it's 1,50,000. And once the fifth year is getting complete, it's 2 lakhs. Now, my initial investment was rupees 1 lakh. My initial investment was rupees 1 lakh. And if I check project C, I'm getting 1 lakh. I'm getting 1 lakh after 3 years. So, my payback period is 3 years. For this one, the payback period was 4 years. So here we got the payback period as 3 years. Now, in case of the third example, which is project B. Now, in case of project B, again, it's not uniform. So we can do it in the same way, the way we have did project C. So we take the year into consideration 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And for the first year, the inflow was 20,000. For the second year, it was 30,000. For the third year, it was 40,000. Next, 40,000. And thereafter, 50,000. So similarly, I try to find out the cumulative. So the cumulative for the first year is 20,000. For the second year is 50,000 because it's 20,000 plus 30,000. Next is 90,000. 90 plus 40 is 1,30,000. And 1,30,000 plus 50 is 1,80,000. Now here if we check, my initial investment was 1 lakh. Now at the end of the third year, I'm getting 90,000. And the end of fourth year, I'm getting 1,30,000. But we require to find out the time period when we are going to receive 1 lakh with reference to cash inflow. By after end of third year, I'm getting 90,000. After end of fourth year, I'm getting 1,30,000. That means to say the payback period is somewhere in between year 3 and year 4. Somewhere here in between year 3 and year 4. Now how we calculate this? So I rub this particular part and show you how the calculation is normally done. So we were discussing from the point of view of project B. Now the formula is payback period will be equal to, see, it is in between 3 and 4, third year and fourth year. So 3 years will be there. 3 years has to be there because after 3 years it's only 90,000. I require further more. So 3 years plus something by something. In the sense, 90,000 I've got after 3 years. How much more I require to get 1 lakh? I require more 10,000. So 10,000 I require more. I got 90,000 after 3 years. After 3 years I got 90,000. I require 10,000 rupees more to go to 1 lakh. So 10,000 divided by, you are going to get 10,000 from the fourth year money. The cash inflow in the fourth year, which is 40,000. So divided by 40,000. So again I repeat, 10,000 after third year you are getting 90,000. So I require to reach 1 lakh. So 1 lakh minus 90,000 is 10,000. Where from you are going to get 10,000? You are going to get the money from the fourth year. Because fourth year you have got 40,000. So it's coming 3 years plus, this is coming 1 by 4. Or rather I can say this is 3.25 years. Now in many a time you refer to lot many number of books. 0.25 years doesn't mean anything. So we require to multiply 0.25 with respect to 12. So 12 months into 0.25 is basically 3 months. So my answer will be 3 years, 3 months. So we completed. So project A was 4 years. Payback period is 4 years. For project C, the payback was 3 years. And for project C, the payback is 3 years, 3 months. Now which project to select? Naturally, the company is going to select a project which has the lowest, or the payback period is at the lowest, or the duration of the payback period should be short. So project C will be selected since its payback period is only 3 years, is less compared to payback period of project B and project A. Therefore project C will be selected. There are two other concepts which require to be discussed. Number one is what I mean by the term post payback profitability. And the second point is how to calculate post payback profitability index. Now what I mean by, so let's discuss about project C only. What is post payback? Payback, post payback. So after payback, what has been the total profit? Post payback profitability. After the payback period, what has been the overall profit? So 3 years was the payback. So after 3 years, fourth year and fifth year, 50,000, whatever I have received is my profit. So post payback profitability will be equal to rupees 1 lakh, which is 50,000 plus 50,000. Fourth year, fifth year. Now what is post payback profitability index? Then we use a formula which is the same: post payback profit divided by investment into 100. So if you check here, it's almost 100% growth, because if you calculate this, it will be post payback profitability is 1 lakh divided by initial investment was 1 lakh into 100, which gives me almost 100%. So 100% growth has happened. It's just an example. These figures are all dummy examples. It's just an example. So the profit which is earned, or the inflow which is earned post payback period, is said to be payback profitability. And payback profitability index is payback profits, which we have calculated here, divided by the initial investment or the cash outflow into 100, gives me the percentage. Now since it's a dummy example, it came as 100%. So what we discussed about payback period. We discussed if a payback period, if we have the annual cash inflow to be same, then we used a formula: payback period is equal to initial investment divided by annual cash inflow. Then we did that if the cash inflows are not the same, then we tried to find out the amount via cumulative way, and we tried to find out the payback. And if, as per the example from project B, it was not matching, then we use this particular formula and we tried to calculate. I hope the concept is clear. In the next class or in the next video, we will be discussing on accounting rate of return. Thank you. Have a good day.